Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
We have already seen that we can do it from the managed business configuration for employee related fields. Setting the field to required mandatory. Setting the field to required mandatory. You can see if it is mandatory or not, you will have a star mark, right? When I go back here, I will go to personal information. Let me take some random date. You can see these fields which is showing here. Can you see the field, the star mark, salutation, first name, last name? There are certain mandatory options are showing me, right? That is called as a required or mandatory. Setting the field as a required or mandatory. That can also be controlled from the managed business configuration. Adding a custom field. Now, if you want to add a custom field here, that is also possible apart from the standard field. If you want to create a custom field, that is also possible. You have the succession, data succession and the BC UI BC. UI, what it says this year, specify the succession and the countries. Specific succession data model must be configured in the XML in the provisioning system and uploaded. Then only we can use the BC. What it says, if you have the succession data model and the country specific section data model configured in the XML in the provisioning, then only we can use the BC UI. Without that, we cannot able to use the BC UI. That is required that both the data models has to be imported and uploaded from the back end system. Then BC. UI is not a replacement for all XML configuration, but rather a way for customers to independently make minor changes to the configuration. BC UI is not a replacement. Now you have a tool that is in the front end, manage business configuration. It doesn't mean that if this tool is there in the front end, there is no requirement of XML is there. Data model is there in the back end. Because of that, only the managed business configuration will work in the front end. And also whatever changes you have, we are making here, that will be automatically updated in the XM because both are synchronized to each other. Is it clear? Any questions? Now it was an overview. What is a business? What is a management configuration? What is the purpose? What is the use? How we are using it? To access this tool from the front end. First of all, we have to enable this tool from the provisioning. In the provisioning, there is an option called Enable Business Configuration in Admin Tool. This option will be available in the provisioning. I cannot show you the provisioning right now. But in the provisioning, we will be having this option. This option will help us. You need to enable this option. Once you enable this option, that is the first step. Second step is that you have to come down to the instance. Instance means what? Front-end system, right? When you come into the instance we have not started RBP. But when you come into the instance, you have to come to the permission role. Let me show you that also. We have a RBP tool manager. Permission roles. Don't get confused because we have not started this topic. I will explain to you later. I'm going into the system admin. After enabling that permissions from the provisioning, you have to come here in the instance. Go to the permission role. Come to the administrative permission and here the search for manage business configuration. Can you see your manage business configuration? This option. Why this option is coming? Because we have first of all enabled it from the provisioning. You may also experience a situation when you are coming into the front end. If this option is not there, then you can assume that is it enabled from the provisioning or not. You need to log in into the provisioning and check once. Once it is enabled here, then we can go here and we can able to give the necessary permissions. Under manage business configuration, we have a lot of things are there, a lot of features are there. That is background element, custom filter, dynamic to filter employee file standard, all the standard one, all these things. We need to enable it from here. Once it is been enabled, and we can directly search for manage business configuration. We can search for manage is configuring before going to manage this configuration. After enabling the thing from the provisioning and then further from the instance, what we need to do, you have to go into the BCUI screen, and BCUI screen is again divided into two parts, that is Employee Central and the Employee Profile. Employee Central, what it says in this section, BCUI screen is divided into two parts, E, C and EP. Employee Central and Employee Profile. Employee Central, what it says, in this section we can find the HR's element that are shown in the personal information. Job info. HR's element is what it is, nothing but this one. When you go here, can you see this portlets? Pastel information, can you see? This is biographic information, national ID, right? If you go here into job information, these portlets are nothing but the HR's element got it. Whichever portlet you are seeing, that is the HR's element in manage business configuration. That only it is saying in this section. We can find in this section under Employee Central and from where it is coming, which is under manage business configuration. Correct. That it is saying employee profile what it says. Employee profile what it says. In this section we have two elements, standard element and a user info element. There are some standard elements and there are some user info elements that are shown in the different portlets. Sometimes what happened? We can also see the some standard elements and the user info elements in this portlets also. From where it is coming? It is coming from the employee profile and the managed business configuration. Coming into the system, if I want to show you, can you see? Employee Central is divided in this management configuration is divided into two parts. Main, Employee Central and Employee Profile. When you go into the Employee Central, you can see HR's elements are there, right? All these are the HR's elements. These HR's elements are nothing but the portlets, right? In the employee profile, if I want to go to suppose, here you can see copy info. Is there compensation? Email info is there. Then home address is there. Job info is there. All these are there. And then when you go into personal info, now when you enter into the personal info, in XML, if you remember, I told you that every element and every field is divided into two parts, ID and labor right. Yesterday I told you. Here in the succession data model also. Even in the manage, this is configuration also. Each element which you are seeing that is divided into two parts. ID and the label, this identifier which you are seeing, this is the ID. And this is the label which you are seeing here. Personal info. If you want to change the label, then that will be reflecting here. If you make the changes, it will be updated here. And under the element and the label, you can see this is the HR's field, right? And this HRS field also will be having certain attributes we have seen in the corporate data model, right? Attributes are there. Correct. Those attributes, they are divided in column wise. Just now, we have seen in the table view and in the source view in XML how the attributes are showing. A corporate data model. Same thing we can able to see in succession data model. But when we come into the manage business configuration, that attribute we can see like this identifier label enabled mandatory. Can you see here and the translations identify here? It is what? Here it is. For RS field, identify means what? The label. No idea. Don't forget it, because these naming convention we should always remember. That is the thing I am striking you again. I know it is an afternoon. It is a sleepy mood, but I just want to push you people. HRS field. Under this we have two parts, that is identified and label. Identify is always the standard one. Label, we can able to do the changes here. When you're making a changes, it is in which language? English. When you want to make it in other language, you click on here. You can see other translations you can able to update here. Who will give this translation? Customer will give. Although we don't have to do anything because here they already. It is a standard one. But if you are creating some custom one, those translation will be provided by the customer. The label and the translation. Activating the field means I told you no, that is enabling the field. That is showing here. And no, you can see here. Mandatory means required. The style mark will be there in a red color star mark. How it is coming? Because if you are making it yes or no. No means it is not mandatory. Got. Further, when you go here, when you go into the details, you can see further attributes. Are there? Identify a label enabled mandatory. Apart from that. Data type. I will explain to you when again we will go and see create a field. When you again scroll down, you can see visibility. Can you see the visibility part? Edit or view. Edit means in XML, both you means what? Sorry, if you are removing means it is non-right. You means only, you are only giving you a readable mode, right? Not a editable mode. That is the thing which you are going in the visibility part, then masking. Masking means certain fields are there, which have some sensitive information. You want to hide those fields values. That is called as a masking. That is also the length of the field. Important fields only. I am just covering up which you will be using frequently. These all things are coming under details. For each field, right? Similarly, we have multiple fields. Are the salutation, first name, middle name, last name. You can see here every field. You have a detail here. Then you have an action you can have. You can see the action option where you have a sequence display, sequence, right? This display sequence means what? How it is organized here. How the sequence is coming. That is about this one C arrow. How you want to keep the sequence of the field, display of the field. When you scroll down the field, you can see here custom strings. You see here custom string. You can see all the custom strings. Are there custom fields, custom 20. Then you have a custom date. Can you see here? Your custom long is also nothing but the numbers, only double will be there. And also you have some custom fields with some names already there. When you are creating something, you can check here also if some default name is there or not. You can see date of death. Right. Then something which you are having better and healthcare number visibility minus rather going and writing it in a custom. It is already there. You can choose that as the idea and you can mention that this one vertical label here, how the label you want. If the ID is not there, then whatever the custom strings are there, you can choose from that. That is one thing. And then coming after the HRS field, you can find one trigger. Trigger rule is also a section where in the field, in the coming session, when I will take the concept of a business rule. Whenever we are creating a business or business only something where you are creating a logic, and according to the logic, the action will be performed automatically with the help of the business. When you are writing a business rule, that rule has to be assigned at a particular portlet. In Manage Business Configuration, that portlet is known as HRIS element. If I'm trying to write a business rule for a personal information, then I should assign that rule in the personal information section. Got. When I go into the personal information section, you can see HRIS field is there and the trigger rule section is also there. This is the way it works on a real-time basis. Now this entire screen which you are seeing, this is a vertical. This is a global view. Global view means, I was just saying Manage Business Configuration. In Manage Business Configuration, correct? But when you are seeing it for any element, this part which you are seeing, this is a global view. Global view means it is applicable to all countries. Correct? Whatever field I am creating here, that is applicable to all countries. If it is Australia, if it is China, if it is India, if it is US, any country, it will be applicable. That is a global view. But if I want to go specific to a particular country, then we need to go with a country specific right. We have two types of data models, right? Succession data model and a country specific succession data model. That succession data model and country succession data model can also be possible from Manage Business Configuration also. Now what you're seeing, a view. This is a global view, means whatever changes which you are making, that is applicable to all customers, right? What is the data model which we are using, which we are updating? That is succession data model, right? To show you further, if I want to go to home address, let me go to the home address. Now you can see home address. HRIS fields are there, right? This fields, whatever you are making, it is applicable to all countries. But if you want any field particularly to a specific country, then you have a plus, you have an arrow here. Right click on this arrow. Can you see country specific home addresses are there? Now, if I want to make something for India, where is India here? You can see here India. When I click on India, it will take you to the country specific. Now here whatever changes I am making here in the employee related field for the country India, this is applicable to India only, right? Whenever I'm hiring an employee and when I'm selecting the country as India, then it is only reflecting in the employee profile who belongs to India country. But I'm going normally outside if I'm not going with the country specific, for example, if I'm not going here and I'm just trying to close it and I'm just clicking on this over in the front side. This is a global view. It means that whatever changes I'm making here, It is applicable to all countries by default because it is not con-specific. Got understood the difference between the global and the country-specific. In succession data model, you are doing it separately. In succession data model, you are doing it separately for succession data model and country-specific succession data model. But here in managed business configuration, both are done in the single application. If I want to go to job information, for example, and in the job information, what is this you call? This is a global view, which will be showing right now. Whatever the view which you are seeing here, this is a global view. If I'm just trying to update or modify or add, if I'm just trying to add any field here, where will be that field? Reflecting. If I'm creating a field here, where will be that field reflecting? The home address of no, that. This is for home address only. No, this is for job information. But the question is that is it applicable to all countries or it is not? It is applicable to specific countries. All countries since we went to the top. Yes, that you should be clear. When you get a requirement from the customer, you should understand that if it is a country specific or it is applicable to all countries. Then only you can able to go and do the configuration. Here when you're going and creating, suppose if I'm going and creating a field for number of temporary contract. Number of temporary contract is, it is applicable to all countries. When I'm creating here, but suppose if I'm going under job information, and if I'm going and creating something for Argentina, I think this way. If I'm creating something for you, a custom field, it means what? Whenever I'm hiring an employee who is basically from the UA, in that US sample file, it will be reflecting. But if I'm taking an employee from the US, I'm at the same time. That's it will reflect in the job information. No, it will not reflect, right? And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.